Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name's Lumen and today we're having a look at Empyreal. Empyreal is a complex, challenging, feature-rich action RPG. In a far-flung corner of the galaxy, an expedition arrives on a hitherto unexplored planet to find a colossal monolith built by a lost civilization, and it is, obviously, your task to uncover its secrets. To do so, you'll need to create and customize a character. That is the first step, and that is why we are here. I want to just say I've had a brief look at what's available, and I absolutely love the style that they went with here. It sort of reminds me of a different take on Horizon Zero Dawn, where you have a mix of sci-fi and fantasy elements, and it all influences the armor and the character styles and everything that's available here, and I just dig it. So if you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Empyreal, you can find some links below, and as always, there will be timestamps. Use them. Find what you're looking for and leave satisfied. In this video, male presets, male customization, female presets, female customization, and then the outro. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. Jumping in here, your first choice is the body. You can choose male or female, and they both look excellent. We will look at the female body in more detail when we start on that section. And then you got a skin tone choice. Skin tones are good. You can see that there are warm tones all the way from a pretty pale one to a pretty dark one. It's good enough. There's nothing more to say about it. And then you move on to head. And this is where the fun starts. So as I said, we're going to look at the presets first. Here we go. There's a good selection. They've done really well. And you will immediately notice as we zoom in here, by the way, that the quality on these models is excellent. And we're talking about an indie game here. I don't know what these guys were doing, but they really cooked something special up with the quality. I gotta say, like, it looks really, really nice. I mean, I've looked at big budget AAA games that have character creation systems that should be better than this. That should look better than this. Nah. I love what they did with this, by the way. It's sort of like a cosmic darkness around this guy's eyes, and it just looks fantastic. Excellent hairstyle. Quality on the hair is really nice as well. It's a great selection of presets, to be honest. Actually, some of the nicest, smoothest looking hair and beards that I've seen in a while. Like, I just want to run my hands and fingers through that guy's beard. Yeah. And this guy, I just want to jiggle his jowls a little bit. I know. Perverse, but I can't help myself. Jeez. Ah, dude, look at that hair. Dude, it all looks so full-bodied. Like, these guys. Man. I guess in the future, no one's really lacking, right? Everyone's got a full head of hair. It's kind of nice. That's it for the presets. They look good. Now, you get to pick your head separately. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick with this guy for now. It's got some facial hair on it. Shouldn't detract from the experience too much. You can choose a face that will help you pick an ethnicity, an overall style, a look and feel to your character. There are younger looking faces, older looking faces, and, you know, many other. I should probably put the complexion off or on 1 for this. But there are many other options that you can use to influence it, but I believe that the head option is probably the most important of the bunch. And I say that because this is a character creation system that does not have sliders. You're not going to change specific features, and I think it works well for what they've got going here, and I think that they give us so many options that it's just not necessary. And it's interesting because generally you think to yourself, if there's no sliders and if you don't have direct control, you can't really get what you want out of it. You can't set it up in a way that you want, but in this case, they seem to add enough of everything to allow you to do unique and interesting stuff with it. So when you're done selecting your head, which is again one of the most important options, I believe, you can do the complexion, which affects things in certain ways. It's sort of like the texture on the skin, the age of your character, how weather worn they are, and other goodies like you can see wrinkles for age and so on and so forth. Not a massive selection of those, but more than enough if coupled with the different heads. Then you got eye color over here. Not bad looking, I would say. They went for a very realistic looking character model here, which means generally when that is done, you don't get all that much vibrance or life in the eyes because they look more realistic. And you know, if you're going to have realistic eyes, they have to be dead inside. So, yeah, well, it's actually pretty good. I mean, the color stands out relatively nicely. I will say, small point, it's quite easy to just add more eye colors, and I think that they probably should, because they didn't ground the eyes in reality. They've got these nice red eyes here and stuff like that. So add a few more. I'd say a few more blues, maybe some violets, some pinks, and a couple more green shades, and I think you'll be golden. But overall, it's a decent selection. I kind of like it. Yeah. And that's it for the head. Now we're going to move on to the hair. Some really nice hairstyles here. You will notice almost immediately that we are going to have the male and female styles mixed together here. But I like the detail on the hair. And I like the somewhat unique styles that they have here. You will see some that I mean, personally, I don't think I've ever seen a style like this. Not in a game, at least. And yeah, the texture work on the hair is phenomenal. Like, it's just incredibly well done. Some of them look better than others, of course. I mean, that is always the case. But it's got a lot of movement. It's got a lot of detail on the individual strands, and they've got this style. It's like, this is the style that I always look for when I'm looking for short styles, and it's not always there. I'm glad to see it is. And they've got a great mix of long and short styles. And like I said, the unique styles that they have here, yeah, very well done. Very cool to actually include stuff that is out of the ordinary, you know? Personally, I'm a big fan. You'll notice that some of these styles are sort of similar to some of the others. They've just got like maybe a ponytail or some braids or whatever and locked on. And that's good. You make use of it. They could probably easily turn this into like a modular system because it looks like they've got it set up like that. But overall, yeah, man, definitely not lacking. And you can already maybe see if you've glanced down at the options below that there is going to be a pretty awesome selection of colors popping up. I'm taking this one just because I was already going on about it. But for the colors, you get to do root and tips. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them like this and show you what they look like when you apply them both. And then I'll show you just a couple separately. It's a bit of a schlep doing this, but I think it's worthwhile so you can see what the colors look like overall. Because they have some really nice colors here. They have some pretty gross looking colors, like this vomity looking one over here. But, you know, sometimes people want that color in their hair for whatever reason. And you'll see they have the natural colors, and then they have the unnatural ones as well. And the coolest thing about this kind of world, I will tell you, from many years of experience, is that these things don't look out of place. Because there's so much life, vibrance, color in the rest of the world, it doesn't look out of place when your character bumps in there and has this, you know, crazy hair color. And now, speaking of crazy hair colors, the root to tip combinations are pretty nice. You'll have to come and check this out for yourself, I would say, because what you're going to find is that certain styles, certain colors, they work differently together. You can get these cool, more subtle looks, or you can go for something really nuts and just like mix it up entirely. I personally think that it's a great selection and a pretty nice way of doing it. I like it more when it's more of a subtle look, when you sort of, you know, when you make it sort of match or work. Like as an example, I fiddled around a little bit, and I kind of liked the way it looked when you combined the reds. Like you go for like a darker red down on the roots, and then you throw like a lighter one on the top. You get that like flame on effect, you know. Lots of cool stuff that you can do here. Lots of fun to be had. Eyebrows. Also lots of nice eyebrows. Can't zoom in any further here. But you can see that the fidelity and texture work on the eyebrows is definitely there. No notched brows, but you have some bushy ones that actually sort of stand out. And that's kind of nice. But more than enough, I would say. And then the colors are the same as the hair colors. For facial hair, we have a selection. It is a selection. That is definitely what it is. And it is fine. It's okay. I like the pieces that they have here, but I obviously think that they could do with one or two more big beards. That's it. And I mean, maybe some sort of in the middle of the road between like these two and that one as well. But the beards that are here do look nice, and they can be made to match your hair quite nicely too. And I have no complaints about that. It's just one of those situations where, hey, maybe a little bit more would be cool. But yeah, that's the beards. For the makeup, cool stuff here. some basic eyeliner, and it applies very nicely. You can see, once again, they weren't really like shy with it. And again, you'll notice that there's no sliders, by the way. No sliders, nothing like that. You're just applying the makeup here. I mean, there's an opacity, which is good, but like, you're not putting more or less on. We've seen a lot of stuff like that recently. I mean, I did Monster Hunter Wilds recently. I did Avowed recently. I think I did Dune Awakening very recently that also had a similar situation. But you don't always need that. Sometimes you just put a good style in there. The opacity is more than enough. You can make it sort of a little fainter or a little more, but it's there. It looks good, and that's enough. That's good. That's good to go. You know, I will say that I feel they could have a little more where this is concerned as well. But I think if you combine it with the eyeshadow, it is definitely more than enough. Let's just do something funny with it. Let's go eyeshadow, and there is more. Like, you know, you've got primary and secondary onto eyeshadow with opacity on primary and secondary as well. Let's push the opacity to the max quickly so you can see what it looks like. And then you'll see some of the cool styles that are here. I'll put them both on black for now. Like, I really like these little dots that they had in here. I don't know if that's like an artifact from the engine or if it's like actually intended design. But whatever they did with it, it to me looks phenomenal, and they better not remove it. Like these little, you know, it's really nice. So I'm not sure exactly where the second color is. Maybe there isn't any of the second color on this. Ah, that's really cool. Wow. That's really nice. So let's take white on the one, black on the other. I'd definitely have some fun with this. Yeah, so then I can see the white and the black both there. Alright. Interesting styles. I like it. Let's put one of these slashes over one of the eyes. Maybe on this side, because we've got a scar on that side. And then let's move on to blush. My least favorite part of any character creation. I don't know what it is, but I just have never been able to use blush effectively. It's here, and it is an option, but like, I just don't see it, you know? I know it's me. It's a me thing. I'm not good at makeup, and I'm willing to just admit that. But I just have not really found a good use for blush. But it's there, and it is an option if you want it. Lips. They have nice styles for the lips. I need not say any more. I will take the lighter one and then the darker one, and I'll show you what they look like. As you can see, the two different color zones there. Very cool. It's together. Texture work is nice. It sits nicely on there. One thing I would say that could be cool is it would be maybe nice to have a gloss slider, maybe. That's about it, though. I don't think we need much more than that. But yeah, there's some options there. And our final stop is the scars. Here we go. So for the scars, that's the one we have right now. You can flip it, which is nice. And then you can set the strength, which is also nice. They got some basic scars, nothing too crazy here. And honestly, it's probably enough. It's again something where they could easily add more if they wanted to. Then there's the one across the mouth. I kind of like the one across the mouth. I think it's pretty good. And that does bring us to the end of the male customization. I'm going to say here that as far as I understand, they were going to add more options to this where you choose like your background and stuff like that to influence the style of gear that you start with and everything else, like the lore of the world and your characters, well, progression through it and dialogue options and stuff like that. I don't see it being in the game right now, but for now, this is more than enough. And we are going to jump on to female. Your first option, as you can see, the body. So you can pick the one you need. Then you can do your skin tone over here. It goes pretty dark. And I mean, it looks good on the darker tone. I really like the way that they've done the skin, and you know, the overall texture on the skin looks phenomenal, and probably even more so on the darker skin tones. I love it. I think it looks really nice. I just take the lighter one so that we can usually see everything easily. But as we move on to the head options, you will see how beautiful these characters look. We're going to go through the presets now. There's a bunch of really nice presets here, and they give us so many good options to start with. So many. I love it. And everything about this, if you skipped here, like from the start, just to see the female customization, I said this on the male side too, I'll say it again here, everything about this is just so well put together. quality-wise, it just looks phenomenal, especially for like an indie game. It's wow. Like, look at this character. Like, it's not often that I can say like, hey, I don't even need to make my own characters for like the thumbnail or whatever. I'll just use the ones that they gave me here because they are so good. They're really nice. So yeah, good presets here. Your next option is the head option. What this is basically just your face and the structure of it. And in this character creator, it's very important as a choice. I say that because you are going to be picking your ethnicity here. You're going to be picking the overall look and feel of your character's face. And because of that, and because there's no like sliders for the individual parts of your face, it's quite a big deal. So you're going to want to pick the face you like here, and then you can do all the other options to make it look the way you like. But yeah, you're gonna want to pay special attention to that. The complexion options, this is a wide variety of things, from things like beauty spots to just weather-worn skin, to freckles, to age, like wrinkles and stuff like that. Combined with the different heads, you can do some pretty good stuff with it. We'll take the basic ones for now, because why not? And then eye color. I like the way the eyes look, especially on a more realistic model. At least you can see the colors quite nicely, but I will say that it would still be cool if there were a few more options. That's it. For the eyes, yeah. Because they've already like said and shown here that you can go for like any color you want. Basically, they've got reds. Unless there's a lore reason, then I'm like, okay, man, that makes sense. But I wouldn't mind seeing slightly more colors for the eyes. It's a minor thing, though, so no biggie. And with that done, we shall move on to the hair. Always one of my favorite parts. And what I'm going to do for the hair is I'm going to throw a highlight on it, just like that. So you can see it's not too hardcore, not too subtle that you can't see it. And then you'll be able to see the two different zones in the hair so that you can at least plan accordingly. Lots of nice hairstyles here for male and female characters. And the hair's quality overall is just absolutely perfect. Like, it is stellar compared to the kind of stuff you'd expect from a game with a lesser budget compared to some of the big like AAAs that come out. It's like it's got so much more, man. And it's really well put together. Again, they sort of straddle that fine line between going for too realistic a look or going for too stylized and like too... once, because the moment you step over and you put too much realism in the hair, it can get too much and it can start looking too chaotic. But I think that they've reached the point here where they've got just the right amount of chaos in the hair to make it look sort of like it's right, but not too much for it to look cluttered and sort of messy in the way that it's rendered. So yeah, man, I'm kind of impressed by this. The hair here is one of my favorite parts for sure. And yeah, good job to these dudes. Good job indeed. My favorites are the bigger styles, like with the lots of hair just hanging everywhere. It's kind of nice. We'll take this one and I'll show you the colors. So you pick the tips and the roots as you've seen, and if you pick them both together the same, then obviously you get a much more deep and vibrant and specific color. And they are nice colors. They do not stray away from the bright, vibrant, full of life colors that you like to see in your sci-fi game. I really like it, especially the blues and the reds are kind of nice. These almost greens are kind of cool too. The darker greens are beautiful. It's like every color just looks nice. They've pulled the saturation up all the way, and I appreciate that. You know, again, it's kind of sci-fi. It's actually kind of cyberpunk, but it's kind of sci-fi as well. I dig it. When you've chosen your hair, and let's go for this like beautiful green that they have here, because why not? Then you can move on to eyebrows. Eyebrows are relatively nice looking in this. Texture work on them is great. There are even some brows that sort of have some depth to them when you get to them over here, that sort of stand out a little bit, and that's nice. Yeah, I like them. And then for the colors, you can sort of do exactly the same as what you have on your hair, if you'd like. Facial hair, you can put beards on the ladies, so if you'd like to, you can do that. It's nothing to really write home about. The facial hairs, in my opinion, in this game, just okay. But it looks good, which is something that bodes well. So if you wanted a beard, there's a nice beard here that's longer. I would just like to see a few more options for that. Next up, makeup. Eyeliner is our first stop. You can already see we have some on here. Change that up if you'd like. There's an opacity slider. Personally, I think the eyeliner looks really nice. Let's take one of these. For the colors, they do apply quite nicely. They're very bright once again. The game does not shy away from it. They just let you go wild with the colors, and that's cool. Very nice. You can probably make some really nice accent in choices here, like the screen that I'm busy doing right now. And then the opacity, when you set it all the way down, it doesn't really take it away, but it does make it less bright, and that's good enough. Then we're going to move on to eyeshadow. There's a primary color and a secondary color. Let's set the one on black and like the one on white. Then you can see not too many choices here and not too impactful as choices. And I mean, that's fine. Again, this is something where they could definitely see a bit of improvement. Like you got the black there and then the white around. Definitely a bit of improvement possible. I really dig this one. I've said it multiple times, but I really like that one. But there are some okay styles. Yeah, there are some alright ones. I'll take this because why not? I just like it. I really like it. Like, it looks like I got stars in there and it just makes me happy. Blush. Blush is blush. I don't like blush, man. I don't know. I never like blush in video games. But there's your options. You can see on the pictures over here what they look like. Colors are also quite bright. It's cool. Yeah. Blush. Lips. Much better than blush, that's for sure. Let's go through the options first. I'll make the one black. Or let's make the one this grey color or the pink color over here. And then the one red. You can have a peek at them. You can see the different color zones over there. For this character specifically, I will use this one, and I will make it, let's say, black, and let's make it green. There you are. It's kind of nice. I mean, I could make it dark green and light green. That actually probably looks better. Or black over here, I suppose. Nice options. Decent. Cool. Next up, the scars. For the scars specifically, you can flip them left and right, horizontally, I guess. And then you can set the strength up and down. It's not too impactful. Even on the lowest, you can still see the scar. But there are some alright choices. This one is, if you can't see it, it's over there. This one on the cheek. This one comes down on the head over here. And that one is across the lips. So there you go. That is it for now. And that's actually a pretty nice character. I'm quite happy with it. That does, however, bring us to the end of this video. I've got mostly good things to say about this system. They've got an awesome style. They've got great looking models. The visual fidelity is just like off the Richter. Again, especially for what I assume the budget is for this game. They've got pretty much as good a selection as you can expect without overcomplicating things with tons of sliders and stuff like that, which is awesome. And they've set it up in a way that seems sustainable, meaning that they can easily add more options to it without messing things up entirely. Overall, it's just really impressive. They do apparently have background options available. I don't know if you maybe pick those when you're in the game or if they're going to be added here later, but they have background options that influence your character's backstory, the gear and stuff that you get, and the dialogue options and the way the world reacts to it and stuff like that. And that's just a great thing to hear as well, because we are still early days here, and for early days, it's looking really impressive. Yeah. I love it. So, good job. Thumbs up. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Again, you can, as always, give this video a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to find my links below, you can find my Ko-fi page, my Twitch channel down there. And hey, happy making those characters, dudes. Happy that.